All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about a huge shift happening in software engineering right now. And it's way more than just using AI to write a few lines of code. This is about a whole new way of working that promises some absolutely massive leaps in what we can build.
So let me start with a question, and it might sting a little. Are you, the developer, actually slowing your AI down? I know, it's a provocative thought, but it gets right to the heart of this trap that so many of us are falling into with these incredible new tools. You know, we hear all this talk about 5x, maybe 10x productivity gains from AI. And look, getting an AI to spit out functions and files for you, that's a definite boost. But what if I told you that settling for 10x is the biggest trap of all? It feels like a win, but it's blinding you to the real prize, which is, well, it's something so much bigger.
So this 10x gain, it usually comes from something we can call vibe coding. You get a feel for what you need, you ask the AI, hey, generate this component. Then, okay, now write this function. Then make another file for that. You become the master assembler, constantly stitching together all these little pieces. Yeah, it's faster than typing it all out yourself, for sure. But it's not a new way of thinking. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. When we're prompting the AI for every single little step, we are absolutely micromanaging it. We're basically treating a potential systems architect like a short-order cook for code. And we are completely missing the point of what these AI agents can really do.
Think about it like this. Would you ever want a boss who leans over your shoulder and tells you what to name your next variable or which function to write next? Of course not. You'd go crazy. You want a leader who gives you a clear goal, a big, juicy problem to solve, and then trusts you to solve it. We've got to stop being that micromanaging boss to our AI and start acting like a strategic leader.
And this right here, this is how you become the bottleneck. You're giving it these tiny little tasks. Make this file, now make that function. It forces the AI to just stop and wait. Wait for your next tiny instruction, your next little approval. The whole process gets slowed down to your speed, to human speed. You know, this compiler analogy is just perfect. It's kind of absurd when you think about it, right? You'd never feed your compiler one line of code at a time and hit enter. You give it the whole program, and you just say go. We need to start treating these AI agents with that same level of trust. Give them the whole problem, not just the next line. This is how we get out of that 10x trap and start moving towards a 1000x mindset. And I'm not talking about just a small improvement here. This is a complete reimagining of what a single developer can do. But it does require a pretty radical shift in how we talk to the AI.
So what does that shift actually look like? Well, on the left, you've got the micromanager's prompt, create this specific file, add this specific function. See how low level that is? But on the right, that's the architect's prompt. Act like the typical user and create powerful ways of sorting and filtering. It's high level. It's all about the outcome and the user's need, not the little implementation details.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. That sounds great in theory, but come on, is that realistic? Can an AI agent really take one of those high-level prompts and build out a whole complex feature set without me holding its hand? Well, let's take a look. This is what the AI built from that one single high-level prompt. I mean, look at this list. It's not just a sorting function. It built advanced state filtering, multi-select category filters, trend visualizations, budget tracking, a full analytics dashboard. It even built data exporting and made the UI better. It delivered an entire suite of features. And get this, all of that work was done on its own in just a few minutes. So while the AI was busy engineering the solution, the developer was free to think about the next big thing, the overall architecture, what the customer really needs. You know, the important stuff, not which file to create next. So how on earth did it do this? This is the secret sauce right here. The AI wasn't just translating instructions into code. It was prompted to act like a user, to actually imagine what a user would want, dream up the requirements for them, and then do all the engineering from start to finish to make it happen. And really, this isn't some crazy new thing that came out of nowhere. It's just the next logical step on this ladder of abstraction we've been climbing for decades. We went from tweaking bits in assembly code to writing in high-level languages, and then we got compilers to handle the low-level stuff for us. Generative agents, they're just the next rung on that ladder. And what all this really means is that your role, it's changing. It's elevating. You're not the person laying the individual bricks anymore. You're the one designing the entire cathedral. You're not the coder anymore. You're the architect. So your time and your energy, it should start to look a lot different. Way less time spent on the mechanics of writing code, and a whole lot more time on the critical thinking, on defining the architecture, on deeply, deeply understanding user problems, and then crafting those beautiful high-level prompts that guide the AI to build the right thing. Which brings us to the most important rule for the 1000x developer. It's simple. Think small, you get small. If you give the AI prompts the size of a file, you're going to get software the size of a file. But if you give it system-level prompts, you can build entire systems. The scale of your input literally defines the scale of your output. So to wrap this all up, the very first step is a choice you have to make. You have to decide to stop micromanaging your AI. Just step back, think bigger, and trust the agent to handle the implementation. And that really just leaves one question for you. What big, audacious, system-level problem are you going to ask your AI to solve first?